Thank you for joining me in this course. I'm going to begin by giving you an overview of the equipment and software required to DJ before we get to the fun mixing side of things. Now, a modern day DJ setup is usually comprised of 2 to 4 digital decks, which are also known as players, and one mixer in the middle. Now, sometimes you can substitute a deck for a turntable, but their core function is exactly the same. However, a turntable has less features than a digital deck, but for now we'll focus on the digital decks. And don't worry if you want to know more about turntables, we will get to it later on in the course. Now, DJ equipment comes in 3 main formats. Format number 1 is where you have the decks and mixer as separate pieces of equipment, and you connect them using various cables, which we'll get to later on in the course. Now, this is the most expensive setup of the lot and can cost you upwards of £3,000. And this is the setup that we've got right here as well. Format number 2 is known as the all-in-one DJ system. Now, this is basically where you have all these 3 pieces of equipment, the 2 decks and 1 mixer, combined together into one piece. The main difference is that you only have one screen in the middle showing you information for the tracks loaded on both deck 1 and 2. Whereas with this setup, format 1, we have a screen on each deck which independently shows us all the information for either track. In addition, because it's an all-in-one system and everything comes together as a package, you can't swap out the mixer or decks for upgraded ones in the future. You're basically stuck with what you get. Now, the benefit of this is that it's much cheaper. They start at around £800, and the highest end all-in-one systems don't go beyond £2,000, which is significantly cheaper than getting standalone decks and a mixer. And remember that with the all-in-one system, you get 2 decks and a mixer together. So everything you need to get yourself going with DJing. The third and final format are DJ controllers. The reason why they're called controllers is because these specifically need a laptop or computer to be connected to them. And you can use them only while running the DJ program on your computer. In other words, they are very similar to controlling a PlayStation with a PlayStation controller. Now, the other point to make, in case you're not aware of this, is that format 1 and 2, the separate decks and the all-in-one system, don't actually need to be connected to a computer to run. They have all the computer components internally built in. So you literally just need your tracks in a USB memory stick, plug it in, and you're able to DJ. So you might ask, why would you want to buy a DJ controller which requires a laptop to work with it? Well, it's due to price. Decent entry-level DJ controllers start at around £200, and the highest end DJ controllers with all the bells and whistles max out at around £1,000. So the price between these and the standalone decks or even the all-in-one systems is significantly lower. Okay, now that you understand a little about DJ equipment, let's get on to the DJ software. Now, the 3 most popular DJ programs are Traktor by Native Instruments, Serato by Serato, and Rekordbox by Pioneer. In this course, I will be focusing primarily on Rekordbox for one important reason. See, the majority of venues around the world employ their own decks. So when you're asked to go and DJ in these venues, you're simply expected to show up with your tracks on a USB memory stick, plug it in, and off you go, begin DJing. Now, most venues around the world are gonna have Pioneer CDJs because Pioneer simply has the monopoly in the industry. And the thing is that Pioneer CDJs inherently use Rekordbox. So if you were to prepare all of your tracks and your playlists using a program other than Rekordbox, you wouldn't be able to show up with a USB stick, plug it in, and see all of the important information a DJ needs to see. But using Rekordbox, you're able to prepare everything at home on your laptop using the software, export all of that information onto a memory stick, plug it into any deck, and you'll have all of the important information that you need to see when you're DJing. Now, I don't expect you to know what this information is at this stage, But as we go through the course, you'll learn what it all is and you'll see why it's extremely useful to every DJ. Now, just as a really quick example, if you look on this deck here, again, I haven't gone through any of the parameters of the deck, but on the screen, you'll notice there is a marker here with the letter A and a marker here with the letter B and the little white triangle pointing down right here, as well as this number, which represents the tempo of the track, which we'll get to, and the waveform. All of this information I can only see because I have put the tracks into Rekordbox, done a few things in there, exported them onto this memory stick and plugged it into the deck. And you might ask, well, can't you analyze all of your tracks on Serato or Traktor and then plug them into the deck? Well, it wouldn't work. The only way you can get that to work is if you take a laptop with you and connect it to the decks physically. And unfortunately nowadays, that is not allowed anymore in most venues. Most promoters simply won't allow it because something could go wrong with your laptop and it might crash and stop the music, or your laptop could break. Someone could spill a drink over it. This is why that's not really commonly done anymore. So we're going to be focusing on Rekordbox, but the upside as well is that, in my opinion, Rekordbox has evolved to be one of the best DJ programs out there. Whether you're using it just as a simple track management program, or you're using it to DJ with digital decks or with a digital vinyl system, it has more features than any other DJ program, and it's very well made. So without further ado, let's get into the software.